This is the follow-up video for how to heal your trigger finger. So if you saw my other video, I'm going to cover some of the same topics, but now that I've finished the program and have completely healed my trigger finger naturally, I'm going to go ahead and include as much information as I possibly can because that's what I like. I like to get as much information as I possibly can about something before I do it, and that's what I want to give you guys because I want to help you be able to heal your trigger finger naturally just like I did. I would like to ask one favor before I show you what I did to heal my trigger finger. If you do find that this video is useful to you, would you please give it a thumbs up, and if you could possibly give some kind of comment. Doing those things help videos rank higher with YouTube's algorithm, and the higher this video ranks, the more people will see it, and hopefully it will be able to help a lot of people. So let me go ahead and tell you about myself just so you can have some of my background. I first got trigger finger in my right hand when I was 21 years old. It happens to run in my family, so I had surgery on this hand when I was 21 years old, and everything went great with it. Now, when you get surgery, you get stitches. You can see my scar right here. They go in and basically cut that little sheath that your tendon slides through. And so I had this bandage on my hand for a week, and I was having to move my finger like this about every hour or so, and it did get kind of sore. And then I had to go to rehab after that, and I would say probably about 3 months later I felt like my hand was completely fine and back to normal. However, by the time I got 32, I developed trigger finger in my left hand, and I thought I was going to go ahead and let this go. I have little kids and my job and everything. I thought I'm just going to try to bear through it, and hopefully it will resolve itself. So I let it go for probably about 6 to 8 months, and things just continually got worse and worse, and the pain just got unbearable. I would say on a scale from 1 to 10, it was like a 9 or a 10. I would wake up every morning, my finger would be locked in this position, and I would have to take my other hand and physically pry my finger straight, and when that little growth on my tendon went through the tendon sheath, it would bring tears to my eyes. I wasn't crying, it just made my eyes water because it hurt so bad. And it would take like 20 minutes of messing with my hand before it was functional again. And I couldn't do basic things like tie my shoe, and typing was real difficult for me because my finger would throb all the time and I couldn't hold things. And so I decided I was going to go ahead and get the surgery on this hand. And when I called in, I found out that the surgery was like $5,000 to $6,000. The first time I got it was like $2,500, so it went up substantially. And with the high deductibles on your insurance anymore, that was going to be all out of pocket. And I refused to pay that much to get the surgery again, so I started looking for natural ways that I could heal it myself. Now, I did try all those videos that you see on YouTube on exercises, and I have to be honest with you, when I did those, I felt like it actually made my finger worse. I tried to do them, and then about 2 weeks later, I think my finger probably felt worse than it ever had. It did not help it, and I feel like it actually intensified the pain. So I started looking around, and I happened to stumble across an article by a doctor named John Ellis, and he wrote a book called The Doctor Who Looked at Hands, and he worked on hands and arthritis and trigger finger for 30 years. And he said that in all of his years of study, he found that his patients who took vitamin B6 at a high dosage for 6 months all were healed. And specifically, it was the P5P version of the vitamin B6. Now, vitamin B6 by itself can actually be really toxic to you, so you need to make sure when you do this that you get the P5P because this is not toxic for you. It doesn't build up in your system and have all the harmful things that regular vitamin B6 does. And one thing that you want to look for when you do these, as these have magnesium in it. If they don't, you want to probably take a magnesium supplement because that will help you absorb this better. But this particular version that I use had it already in there. I'm going to include a link below. I picked this up at my local drugstore, but you can find it on Amazon considerably cheaper than what I got it for. So I started on September 12th of 2016 on trying to heal my trigger finger. So I went to the store and I bought a bottle of this P5P, and I also read that wearing a finger splint would help your finger to rest and would help the swelling of that growth on your tendon go down. So I went to the grocery store and I picked me up a finger splint. I also read that wet heat can also help with your hand. So for the first 3 weeks of this, I got a large bowl of the hottest water that I could stand, and I just set my hand in it for about 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes I'd slowly start opening and closing it, and that really helped a lot, and my hand felt pretty good. I did that each night before I went to bed. Like I said, I only did that for 3 weeks. After about 3 weeks or so, I didn't feel like I was getting any more benefit, and actually within 2 weeks my hand felt considerably better when doing the water, the P5P, and the finger splint. And things just continually got better from there. But after 2 weeks, I would say that my pain level in the morning, which was always the worst, was probably now about a 4 or 5 when it was a 9 or 10. So when you wear this finger splint, your finger has a tendency to get locked in the straight position. So each morning when I'd take off the finger splint, I'd still have to bend my finger down, but that pain was a lot less. Now, I tried the finger splint by itself before I took the vitamins and the water, and actually it didn't help, just itself. It did not work well until I combined it with the vitamins and then soaking my finger initially, but then I stopped that again at 3 weeks. So as I kept going on in this program, things just continually got better and better. However, I did have 2 times, one in November and one in January, where it seemed like my finger for 1 week started to get worse for some reason or another. Now, I do know that it was colder in these 2 weeks that my finger got worse, and so I was getting worried that maybe it wasn't going to work. But anyway, I stuck with it, and after a week or so, everything started to get better. One thing that I discovered though during those weeks is I thought maybe I could try to splint it while I was at work. I don't want to wear this big thing, especially because I type and I work a lot with my hands. But one thing that I did, I got 3 Band-Aids and I made this splint. I'm going to show you how I did it here. And I really think that if you did this from the beginning, this would help you a ton, because after I did it, my finger felt great. So anyway, what I did was I just straightened out my finger. I first put a Band-Aid with the pad over my knuckle and just straight across the top of my finger like this. I then took the other Band-Aid, I put it on one side of my knuckle like this, so it's right here. And then I took the other one and I just put it on the other side. So my finger looked like this. I had a Band-Aid here, here, and right on top. And this will allow you to kind of bend your finger a little bit, but not all the way. And actually, this doesn't allow that little nodule to go through your sheath. It still stays on top of it. So it gives your finger a little bit of a rest. And I was still able to type and work with my hands, and it wasn't very noticeable. So I wore this actually during one of those weeks when things were hurting especially bad, and really helped a lot actually. I started wearing it at the end. I wore it for probably 3 or 4 days, and by the end of it my finger actually felt better before it had started hurting that much. So I really think that this helped, and you may want to try wearing this from the beginning, because I think it will help. So now I am at the end of the 6 months. I've actually been not taking these vitamins for over a month now, going on 2 months, and I have no pain at all in my finger. It's never locked up anymore. It doesn't throb, and it feels just like my other hand. So at this point, I think everything is completely healed. So now my pain level on this is a 0, where it was a 9 or 10 at the beginning of this. So guys, if you have trigger finger, I think that this will really help you out. I was skeptical about it at first. There wasn't a whole lot of information on this P5P other than that article and maybe a couple of other times where people had mentioned that they tried it and it worked. So that's why I set out to test if it would work, and it did indeed work. The only side effect I had from this was it tends to make your urine a bright yellow color, which is not really bad because if you look at this, it has riboflavin in it, and this has 1,000%. So I was taking 3 of these a day, 3,000%. Excess riboflavin in your body produces a darker yellow urine, and it's not harmful to you though, at least from my research, and I didn't have any side effects. After I stopped taking it, I felt the same as when I did take it and before I took it. So I didn't have any harmful side effects on that. But I'm not a doctor, so don't take this as medical advice. But with me, nothing. Well guys, I hope this helps you out. It really worked for me, and I know how much of a pain it is to try to live with trigger finger. I've had it twice now, and it is awful, especially when it really starts to get hurting. You can put up with it for a while, but then after a while, it's just you get fed up with it, and it really starts to impact your life. So that's why this video is real important to me, and I hope that it helps you. So I'm going to put the link to the things that I used in the description. So if you want to order them off of Amazon, you can do so. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I will do my best to answer you, and I pay pretty close attention to my YouTube channel, so I'll see when you comment, and I usually reply back to you within an hour if I don't have anything going on. I hope that you've watched this video to this point. I know it was really long, but one thing that I would like to ask for you to do, if you could give this video a thumbs up, and if you could possibly comment, that helps the algorithm of YouTube to rank this video higher, and that's just important to me because I want to get this information out there, because I went through this and it is a pain in the butt. I just want to help people out, and actually get real excited when people tell me that they're trying it and it's working for them, because I've been there. So guys, thanks for watching. I hope you can heal your trigger finger.